Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Well, today we're excited to host the acclaimed broadcaster, producer, and musician, Gboyega Adelaja. In this special episode, Gboyega will provide us with an in-depth look at the evolution of the Nigerian music and share exclusive insights from the tours when legendary names like Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Hugh Masekela and Osibisa used to traverse the lands of Nigeria. So stay tuned for a captivating exploration of music history and personal experiences. Welcome. Now, I think you should take us around the world with your experience. Yeah. I remember the days of Osibisa. I remember your escapade in the US. Yeah. And there's no other person to talk to as an encyclopedia of music as you are.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, good evening to all our viewers. If I have to start, I mean, from the family background, perhaps. You know, I was born in 1952, March 1952, to Venerable Archdeacon B.A. Adelaja, late Venerable Adelaja. And my mother was Mrs. Adebayo Adebonojo. Mrs. Adelaja, and she was from the ruling family in Idowa. Okay. My father also...
Where's Idowa?
Idowa is in Ogun State, very close to Djibouti.
You Ogun people.
And my father was the principal of the CMS Grammar School, the oldest secondary school in Nigeria for some time, between 1949, for 20 years. I don't want to quote the wrong dates. And he moved the school from Odunlami Street to Bariga. When Bariga, in 1959, when Bariga, the entire Bariga Shumolu was a forest. I mean, there were no houses at all. And then that was where I grew up. And then I grew up in a Christian home. There's a lot of music, a lot of prayers. We woke up in the morning to pray, sat at breakfast table with mom and dad. We went to school and we grew up until everybody started to go. My sister, elder sister, she's a medical doctor. She traveled to America. I followed her, my younger brother. And then, you know, we went to school and all that, and then came back. You know, so maybe that is the family background I'm trying to tell.
Your background, you're indirectly saying, is your foundation into music.
Yes, it was, because I had an uncle, my father's younger brother, used to be Adelaja's father, to the Adelaja of Rosabelle Advertising.
Yes.
He used to play the organ when we went to spend time with him in Ibadan. He was a former tax inspector of the Western region. Ooh, but he had an organ in the house, and he used to, those ones that you pedal. So I used to fix my eyes on him because I was so amazed the way he played the organ. So, and of course, with the kind of, my mother would travel to America in those days when I was in secondary school, and bring back records of Temptations, you know, those early days of the Jackson 5 and all that. I remember one particular song. Na 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 goodbye, something like that. So I got interested in music, and in secondary school we started a band called the Canons. In secondary school, we had Kimi Akingbeyi, Dr. Shikwade Jagun, myself, and a few others. You know, so that was where my musical journey started, from secondary school. You know, and I was sent to America to study architecture. And actually, I was in Howard University School of Architecture for 2 years, but elements of design, some of the courses were really nice and I passed them. But there are these courses in mathematics, calculus, and some other courses I could not. I tried semester after semester. So I decided to change, I studied broadcasting.
Because it sounds like a very familiar.
Oh, yeah, And of course, in the summer, I was talented. I was gifted in playing the piano. I got together with some of my Ghanaian friends, and we formed a band. Myself, Tokumbolo Foyeku, and some other Ghanaian friends. So we started playing around Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
At the embassies, we were playing high life. At the embassies, then they had functions. Kenya embassy, so many African embassies. And then one day, Hugh Masekela, we were in rehearsal. We are managed by a Black American called Ron Hood, an associate. He was managing us as a small group. He rented a house for us. But then I had stopped going to School of Architecture because I wanted to face music because of the calculus, which I never
I just wonder how your father or even your parents would have reacted when they said you stopped.
Well,
I'm sure they didn't know.
They didn't know. That is why for 3 years,
Wow.
they didn't know. When I started playing music with Hugh Masekela, he came and watched us at our rehearsals and he engaged
By the way,
us.
Hugh Masekela is a South African.
South African,
But he's late now.
world-renowned South African trumpeter. World-renowned because he's one of the, before he died, he was one of the best. You can compare him to people like Miles Davis, Freddie Hubbard, So as I was saying, he came and engaged us. And he had a tour. He had a tour for 2 years. This is good money. He had a tour with the Parliament Funkadelics. It's a big band, and then he came and heard that we had a band, and he came all the way from LA, and he saw us at rehearsal, and immediately he engaged us for that tour, And that was how the first city we played, that was in 1974. The first city we played was Chicago. In Chicago, there's a Happy Medium or something like that. Remy Abdul and some of those people who came to watch us remember the name of that club. That was how we started this musical journey that went on for 3.5 years. Non-stop.
3.5 years.
3.5 years. We recorded 3 albums with Hugh Masekela. We hardly had a break. Before I was playing with Hugh Masekela, I had traveled to England during the summer period, and I was jamming with Osibisa.
Osibisa.
Yes, Teddy
That's when I really caught my fancy.
Yes, Teddy Osei, my late Mark Tonto. Even my cousin ended up playing for Osibisa.
Osibisa reigned in the early 70s.
Yes. They reigned, they started in the early 70s to up 80s until, the name still exists, but most of the original members of the group are no more. They have new members.
Were largely Ghanaians?
Yeah, the Ghanaians and Remy Kabaka, who was a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Lofty Amau, who is also a Nigerian, were all original members of Osibisa, but most of them were Ghanaians. So Lamafio late, Mark Tonto late, Teddy Osei is still there. The bass player was Spartacus. His name is Spartacus. And then the guitar player from Grenada, I can't remember. I see my brain is getting old at 72. Anyway, we did a lot of traveling with Hugh Masekela. And we recorded 3 albums. We had some hits, Asiko, Enyoma Africa, Asiko, Lola Ye, Asiko. And then we played music and we made some good money. When money was really good, when the dollar, the Naira was strong.
Stronger than the dollar.
Yes.
Yeah.
We traveled. There is no state that we didn't travel to in America except Hawaii. Except Hawaii and the other...
Alaska.
Alaska. We didn't go there. But we traveled for 3 years. We were just traveling, playing music. And I would play for big audiences. 60, like what Ashake and all them are doing today. We have done all that in the 70s. But there was a particular incident when I hadn't spoken to my mother, my parents, for 3 years. And we had a show at Bijou Cafe, but my uncle is late now. Uncle Festus, he had a hospital, he was a medical doctor, He heard about our exploits. They were, this boy is doing well now, he's playing with Hugh Masekela. But my parents said they don't know where he is. So we were going to play in Philadelphia, Bijou Cafe. And it was well advertised. And my uncle called my mother that your son that you are looking for, they are coming to play at Bijou Cafe.
And you didn't know about it?
I didn't know. So the day came, we were playing just like we've been playing with big, in the middle of the show, I just looked at the audience and I saw my mother. we were playing music, excited. And I saw my mother. I said, what? Am I seeing a ghost or what? What? this is mom. And I looked to her side.
Did
I
that
saw
not
my
affect
uncle.
your performance?
Oh, it did for some time. But, as a professional,
Yes.
I was avoiding eye contact with my mom. So during the break, I told my colleagues that, look, I saw my mother in the crowd. And it's most like, before I finished that sentence, cook, cook, cook. And mommy came in. So I just went down. I said, I'm sorry. But we were doing well. And she met us well. We were responsible musicians.
She was proud of you.
Oh, yeah, she was proud of that. In fact, she was proud when she saw us perform. She told me, you people are even playing better music than Soni Irabor or all this. Because we're playing jazz, African jazz. So anyway, we finished that episode. I apologized. And my mommy was convinced that, it's not as if I'm a nameless somebody. Those were the years with, and I came back, of course. Festac brought us home. Most of us brought us back.
Festac was in 1977. That's right.
February 1977.
Yes.
Festac brought most of us back to Nigeria, so we wanted to witness it.
The way you recounted the music so far, music history, one can also look at the evolutionary implication of it.
Yeah.
But do you have any formal training in music?
Well, apart from the music that we were taught in school, at the CMS Grammar School, which was good, Papa Bankole, that's your Bankole's grandfather, who I think he was an old grammarian. Rudiments of music we were taught in school. And then Mr. John taught us the various instruments, saxophone. But, in those days, if you wanted to be a musician, you are most likely, you'll be discouraged. My parents wanted me to go and study architecture, or you want to be a medical doctor. But we had basic education in music. You know what the signs are, the crochet, the semi, crochet, this and that. So we did all that in secondary school. But by the time we were going to do my school start, I had to choose 8 subjects. But music wasn't part of it. But I had that talent in me.
Yeah.
I wanted, so...
Well, the thing is, the Adelaja family appears well-grounded in music.
Yeah.
But you're the only one that came up to the fore.
Yes. Well, not too well-grounded in music. We say well-grounded in Christianity.
Okay.
Because my father died, by the time he died, he was Archdeacon of Lagos in the Anglican Church.
Okay.
My mother was a great Christian. In fact, the Adelaja family, and from my mother's side, my mother's grandfather, he brought Christianity to Ijebuland. This is a fact. Everybody knows that. J.J. Odumosu.
Okay.
So Christianity is very synonymous with the family,
When you say J.J. Odumosu, it's not the same. Is it the same Odumosu of Jesu Oyinbo?
No.
Okay.
No. Not Jesu Oyinbo. Although Jesu Oyinbo is related to the Odumosu, but my great-grandfather from my mother's side, he brought Christianity to Ijebuland. And he wrote a book on local herbs. They call it Iwe Iwosan, which was relevant.
That book.
Yes, it's still there. It's been, people refer to it to do research.
Like a dictionary of stuff.
Of herbs, leaves, and all things. So,
Well, to take you back to music and the industry.
Yeah.
I wonder if you remember, do you have any knowledge that precedes you and your performances in music, Nigerian music?
Yeah, from secondary school, from Form 1, Form 2, we started listening to music of the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis Presley, Everly Brothers. That's the very
But to tell you, 3 very different musicians.
Oh yeah, Everly Brothers. Those popular artists of those days. Most of them foreign artists, apart from Fela.
Yeah.
And Soni Irabor and some Ike Dairo. So, and in fact, I don't know how to explain it. I just love music from a very young age, from secondary school, and I happen to have. We used to go and watch Fela in those days, Sunday Jump. most secondary school students.
Where was he based?
He was based somewhere in Alagomeji.
Kakadu side?
Kakadu side, Alagomeji. There was a forgotten youth. We used to have a Sunday jump, and we used to go and watch him. And I used to be amazed because then fella was singing very nice
Those
songs.
days you couldn't do beyond just by 8 p.m. you were supposed to be back home.
Exactly, by 8 p.m. There was strict, the parents were very strict. My parents were very strict. And, we had a good quality of life. You know how the 60s was, although Lagos wasn't as populated as this, but most of the infrastructure worked. There was electricity. You could drink water from public tap. The buses were running.
What was the electricity company called those
ECN.
days?
ECN, Electricity Corporation of Nigeria.
Yes.
So the question is, from that secondary school, I decided I wanted to, even if I became an architect, I would still do music. It has always been in me.
Can you write music?
Well, I cannot write it, but I can listen to it and know the chords formation and all that. Because Soni Ade cannot write music now. But they play beautiful music.
Fantastic music.
Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitarists in the world, cannot write. I think written music is meant for the classical musicians, like Beethoven and stuff like that. But for the kind of music we play, jazz, although it's good to understand basic rudiments of music, but which I think I do from secondary school.
Okay.
But
before we go to the other side of you're a broadcaster, you're a producer, you're a musician. Yeah. Okay, let's look at your relationship with Ambrose Campbell.
Oh, Papa
much
Ambrose
older
Campbell.
than.
Yes. Osaze Yamu came to England. That was around 2006. And he said he was doing a program with Benson Idonije on High Life.
Another Baba himself.
Oh, yes. Who is Burna Boy's uncle, and
grandfather.
Grandfather, yes. And he said he heard that Ambrose Campbell lives in Plymouth. And he said, how can I assist him so that we can go to Plymouth and record Ambrose Campbell in an interview? And I said, why not? Buy the train ticket. He said, how much will I? I said, no, let's go and get this. Because even myself, I've been looking for a way to get to know Ambrose Campbell. And it was a divine arrangement by God. Osaze came and we went to see Ambrose Campbell together. And I suggested to him that, look, instead of recording him for radio, let me bring my camera so that we are recording audio and we're also recording video, which we did. We were very smart because so we went to Plymouth and did that recording with him. And Osaze came back to Nigeria. Then I told my other friends that, look, Ambrose Campbell is in Plymouth. So we went for the second time. Myself, Dejo Deyinka, Duncan Brooker, who's a producer with BBC. Yes, and a few other friends. And that was even a much more robust interview with Ambrose Campbell because we bought hot drinks and everything, which he prayed. He prayed for us and all that. And he was in his elements. That was how I met him. I never thought, and I still have those materials with me. The materials of the second visit to Ambrose Campbell. In fact, we made 3 visits. I took Lekon Babalola there.
Okay.
And then me and Dejo, and we all went there. So I have those. And the man he's late now. I was at his funeral. I filmed his funeral. I have all that on my archives, I was the only person with a video camera at his funeral, which was at the Islington crematorium because it was cremated. Okay. I think that was 2008 or something like that. So that was how.
2 years after you.
Yeah, we interviewed him. That was how that was how close I was to Ambrose Campbell.
You know why I brought Ambrose Campbell's case in? Because Nigeria has always been the music world.
Yeah.
I understand Shirley Bassey.
Oh,
who
yeah.
is a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Was the other one? Okay,
Orlando Martins, who acted with Ronald Reagan.
Yes. It's also a Nigerian. Yeah. So it shows that the Davidos of this world today, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, they're coming from an evolution that has started from way back.
We started PMAN, Performing Musicians Association.
Yes.
I was the first secretary of PMAN. We started from Aria nightclub, Soni Irabor. These are Bobby Benson, Balamila, late Papa Bobby Benson, Balamila. And we went to visit Shagari. There was a time, I think that was in 1982 or 83. Shagari was the president. And we went to visit him at the Dam Barracks. You know, Bobby Benson led us. Onyeka, late Onyeka was with us, you know. Nico Mbaga, Sweet Mother,
yes,
he was with us. Tony Gray was there. Sonny Okosun. The picture is on the internet. Almost half, the last time I looked at that picture, half of the people in that picture have passed. Just, in fact, Onyeka is the recent one that passed. So I started to feel maybe who's next? Man, I don't want to die now. But that was how PMAN started, you know, 1982. Because of the frustration, the way people look at musicians locally, guitar boy or something. So we went and met Shagari and Bobby Benson. I remember that day when we were waiting for him to come, for the president to come. And when he appeared, I remembered what Bobby Benson said. He said, Mr. President, these are my boys, and we are all suffering. So, Shagari,
on that note, we're going to be back. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll hear some more. Mr. President, these are my boys. And we
that was what Bobby Benson said. I remembered.
Back.
Africa needs its own storytellers, people who understand the continent because they're from it, people who know that news is more than just a conversation starter, it's our stories, because these stories run deeper than headlines and segments. It's about digging deeper to get the facts and telling the human side of every single story, not just the echoes from foreign headlines and perspectives. It's time to take back our narratives and share them in our voices. The birth of Africa's New Age reporting, and this is where it begins, right here at News Central TV, with stories that put Africa first.
Welcome back. Well, we're on to Mr. Gboyega Adelaja, broadcaster, producer, and musician. We started with music. Well, the truth is, Mr. Gboyega Adelaja, the key, milestones of music, you want to look at that? Famous musicians, you already started with them. And then we can look at some of the elements that carved all of you out the way.
Yeah, well, I think this, you see, I've lived a decent life, despite the fact that I'm an artist. I've tried to live very decently because of my background. And I've also tried to influence so many other musicians that my path has crossed, especially home, when I came back home. So like T-Mac, when I returned from the US, in 1977, finally, I was playing with T-Mac. I was working with NTA, but I was also playing with T-Mac. He had a band at Sule nightclub, so, and that Alade was
T-Mac had a particular instrument.
A flute.
Flute.
Yes.
So it was a real flautist.
Yes, a flute is one of the best, and then it was good. Life was good generally, and then there was no reason not to be good in those days. We worked hard. We worked very, very hard, and then we had good company and all that. Now the country was good and all that, So, but when I came back from the US, I had to do a job. My father and I when I left School of Architecture in Howard, I went and studied radio broadcasting at Columbia School of Broadcasting.
Okay.
It's a fast crash course before I started to play with Hugh Masekela. So when I returned home, my father asked me, what do you want to do now? And by the way, I came back home with good money in those days from playing with Hugh Masekela because we were earning our salaries. So my father said, what do I want to do now? I said, well, maybe I would like to work with a TV station. And, he just came to NTA, took me to NTA. And Segun Olushala was the general manager.
Director of programs? Okay. Yeah.
Atalade was my father's student at CMS Grammar School. So I was employed the same day with Yom Yem, late Yom Yem.
Yom Yem.
That was how my journey into television started. And I worked in NTA for 2 years. I was a production assistant in the variety section. Chris ABA was our head of section. I worked with people like Obirapu, Doyin Dada, Tokumbo Ajayi.
Where's Chris Obirapu in the US somewhere?
He's in Minneapolis, but he also lives in Abuja. He shuttles. So, and we held on the variety section very well because we were producing good programs. And we used to produce Atalade's show from the National Theatre every Sunday. Every Sunday we used to produce. Families used to come and paid 50 kobo. Instead of going to movies, they call. And it was a very nice, high-quality show. Atalade, it was live. We did that.
It was another keyboardist. Very good singer.
Fantastic.
Fantastic voice.
And I worked for 2 years, and I was getting bored because with NTA, because we were working, but most of our time was at the National Theatre drinking beer. That's television producers. We do that. You work hard and you play hard. So, and Mr. Omolo then was the owner of Niteco, the company that was selling Citroen cars and Audi and all that. And he was close to Mr. Ajije Didun, Ajije Didun, Tunde Ajije Didun's father.
Uh-huh.
Who was our boss at NTA. So he was a tenant of my mother on Hindra Road. He rented one of my mother's properties. And then my mother one day told him that, look, I have a son who just came back from the US. He's worked in NTA, but he said he's not happy. Mr. Omo said, look, he's talking to Dino Ajije Didun to set up a production company, a company that can cover news, and that excited me, that I cover events. So we started Ajaka Video Film.
Ajaka.
Me and late Dino Ajije Didun. I was the deputy managing director. He was the managing director. And we were the first to start.
You had an early taste.
Yes, I was about 24, 25 then. And we were the first people that started to cover social events like marriages, naming ceremonies. Ajije Didun was very vast in AWI.
AWI, that's right. So he was actually also doing that alongside.
So we did that together in the days of one tube camera. Today you are talking about digital cameras, phone camera. There was no mobile phone then.
Can you please describe one tube camera and the difference between today's one and that one?
The Sony camera was a VS1640. It has only one tube. Okay. And that tube gets light, red, green. It gets normal lighting. So the resolution wasn't too, I'm talking about Umatic cameras. The resolution wasn't too fantastic. And the camera is separate, the recorder is separate. There's a cable that links the camera and the recorder. So sometimes you had situations where the cameraman is there and the person carrying the recorder, maybe he's not paying attention, and the cameraman wants to move and this cable snaps. That is the end of that production.
Some history there.
So I think this is what the Japanese, those who are developing the technology, many cameramen will have suffered from that kind of a, and then they started to put cameras and recorders into one unit. Yes. Before, like I said, it was camera separate, recorder separate. You have to link them up with a cable. And then, but now they are doing 3 tubes. They started with 3 tubes camera. And then, but the kind of cameras which will capture green, red, green, and blue light. And,
yes.
I'm not too much of a technical person, but I have some idea. But now, the cameras there are all kinds of cameras now. Different 8K, 4K, the standard cameras now, the technology has gone so fantastic, and images have improved all kinds of lenses. So
looking at the space of maybe 50 years at
50 years. And that's not the end. I'm sure in the nearest future, technology is going to go farther than it has gone. And we, like I was saying, we did this Ajaka video films, and Ajedi passed on. And Mike Anahoro, who was a friend of Mr. Umolo,
okay,
the MD of Niteco, the Ikoyi Club, they played golf together. Then he mooted the idea to Mike to come and take over from where Ajidedidun left. And Mike said, well, he has to change the name of the company. So he changed it to Nationwide Television from Babs Anima Sound Street. So I continued with Mike. Mike was my, we were working, we were doing programs, commercials, everything. Nick Nahoro was there, so, and some other staff, Major Edgar, that was on Babs Anima Sound Street, Surulere. And after a while, I said, well, I would like to have my own company. Naturally. So I engaged my cousin, who was then working with Osadun at DBN, Remy Ogunpiton. Yes, my cousin from my mother's side. So we wrote feasibilities and everything. We knew exactly what we wanted because Steve Ojo had started his own companies then.
I was...
you see, this is our opening. He
has a popular TV.
Galaxy.
That's right.
And then he was doing major works for the manufacturing companies and all. So we said, we want to do the same thing, me and Remy. And then we went to meet our late uncle, Otumba Balogun, CSL, City Security, that they have to finance the project. So we knew exactly what we wanted. We wanted to set up a studio. By the way, your studio here is fantastic. I've never seen a studio in Nigeria as beautiful, as functional, as news. Yes, to be honest, I'm here. I know about all these things. So Otumba financed the project, and then we started Solar Productions. And Solar was working.
Solar, that's true.
Yes. So we
I
were
patronized you those days.
Oh, yes. We did a lot of work. We shot the adverts for Bonvita. Well, in fact, it was a great, and in life one has to move on. And then I started having children and all that. And, I have to go and bond with my children because they were in England, So that was how I went to England for some time. And me and Remy separated from the business after a while. He wanted to do something else. I wanted to do so. And he's doing very well today with IBTS, his company. His company is handling, they were shooting Big Brother when they first came to Nigeria.
Right.
They are, if you check IBTS on Google.
I like the way you've brought your son's experiences and his company into this. Because if you look at then and now, you see the graduation. Let's bring ourselves to the present day, vis-a-vis the music, broadcasting, and the links.
Yeah. Well, today, technology, today I am just a videographer and an Afro jazz pianist.
Videographer
and an Afro jazz pianist.
Afro jazz
pianist, yes. I work from home now because technology.
I remember.
Yes, we do that monthly, last Sunday of every month.
Yes.
And I do a lot of work. Even now, I have a studio in my house. I work from home. I have cameras. I have microphones. I have everything, but not as grand as News Central.
News Central.
My own is News Solo. Anyway, I'm still practicing what I know how to do, and I'm very happy. I have a few clients I do.
When you mention your age and maybe the white, that's not a good tea, just a teaser.
A tea goes.
So you don't look the age you claim.
Well, I'm 72 plus. I'll be 73 by God's grace in March 2025. Because I celebrate. We are age mates. I'm just 5 years older than you, Soni.
5 years older than me? Or 5 days?
5 days, sorry.
Right.
5 days, yes.
Now, let's look at how the music industry has impacted Nigeria, because show business in Nigeria has suffered, even if I say so myself. But then, what have we done wrong?
Well,
the Nigerian economy doesn't seem to recognize.
But
the efforts of film, music, and all of those.
Yes, but in view of that, a lot of Nigerian artists are making it. They're international. It has never been this good for Nigerian music. It has never.
Okay.
Because Nigerian music has not been accepted internationally before. Except Soni Irabor that used to go on the tour of Europe, Japan, and all that. But now Burna Boy can fill a Wembley Stadium. Ashake can fill up Wembley. Davido can do the same. So many of them now. But we started something for them that I think they are benefiting from today. The P-Man movement started. And you know even how far Tony Okoroji took P-Man.
Right.
Tony Okoroji took up the management of P-Man. Even Onyeka, even Charlie Boy, they all contributed a lot.
And there was one young man who was also P-Man president. I think he died. Tall Mustafa.
Amigo, Mustafa Amigo.
Let's just a little tribute to Onyeka Onwenu here.
Yes.
How well did you know her?
I knew Onyeka from 1978 when she came to work at NTA.
Yeah.
I was already a staff at NTA. She was working at NTA. And she was a thoroughbred. I just came back from US, from America after spending 6 years. Onyeka too just returned from the US. So somehow we gelled. Because she used to talk like an American. Now, anytime we went, hey, how you doing, sis, man? What's up, babe? So she gelled with me, and we became friends until she went to record with Soni Okosun. And then she had a vision.
Music was a help.
She did, yes, with late Soni Okosun.
Yes.
And then I believe she had a vision that was beyond what NTA could offer her.
Yeah,
because
it was very upsetting to see her go.
Mm-hmm. She was a thoroughbred producer and all that. And that was why she did that documentary, Squandering of Riches. Yeah.
Which is still relevant today.
Very, very relevant. Very relevant.
It's just like Fela. The BBC and NTA?
Yes, yes. But the way she presented it, you can see that it was very highly professional. So, and what were we saying? Onyeka. So that was how I met Onyeka. We were friends with Tina Onwudiwe when they were living at Surulere. Bob Manuel, so it pained me when she died because she lives in the same apartment, with my wife on Rumens Road. She lived on the last floor opposite Mrs. Mohammed, Ajoke Mohammed. And I saw her, even her video, we shot it, Solar Production shot it, Iyo Gogo.
Yeah.
And the Peace Song, we shot it in 1992. We shot it. Onyeka was a special friend, Her death really pained me because the morning of the day she died, we had chatted on WhatsApp. I sent some video to her and she made a comment on it. Only for one to hear later in the day that she had passed. That was
shocking.
It was shocking.
She died performing.
Just like Miriam Makeba.
Exactly.
It's painful.
Now, what kind of advice would you give Nigerian musicians who work? Let me not use the phrase that would send us to the gallows. Nigerian entertainers, musicians, they work their heads off. In those days, for nothing.
Yeah.
But today, we can say, thank God, things are coming up for us. So, what's your advice to discerning minds, musicians?
You see, when we lost Mike Akpo, it was another great, about last year, and we were all getting together to encourage, to plan for his burial. And we had a WhatsApp forum, and I went on in the forum that, look, you don't wait for people to die, musicians or anybody. Before you start to think of how to contribute for that. So why don't we start an insurance scheme for the musicians, for anybody? That's because it appeared to me that time that we were just saying, oh, let's contribute money. I said, is it every time you'll be contributing money? Let's have a plan. And I had a friend, a classmate, Prosper Ukwe, he owns Umutu restaurant, who is an insurance broker, who top insurance broker. And we wanted to make that arrangement so that we could start an insurance scheme, not only for musicians, for broadcasters.
Exactly.
So that we can be putting a certain percentage, small percentage of income into, so that the day somebody hits the ground, you'll not be looking for money to, do this and do that. So my advice is, like you said, like you were trying to ask me that question, is you should have schemes like insurance schemes, even broadcasters,
even the film industry.
The film industry, which is a very big...
Mr. Ibu died, and so many of them like that. Last year alone, 2023, so many Nigerian actors and actresses went.
Yes.
This year, we're only 8 months old in the year.
Exactly.
So many things.
So that is the solution. They must start. I don't know why the insurance companies through themselves have not marketed or packaged something for, because they have a community, a musicians community. In fact, I get home and died, and yes,
this year,
Antonia, yes.
He was a show promoter.
Oh yeah, he hired equipment and all that. I'm in a group that is planning some big concerts for him in February. With Oris Willie Key, Righteous Man, and we are there. We do meetings twice a week, and the promo will come out soon. So we should work on insurance. If there's a way I can engineer that or make it happen, but you need the musicians to support to want to do that themselves. The broadcasters. We have
it's like saying trigger an action and let's see the follow-up.
Yes.
But now, as we go towards the end of this program, let's spend the next few minutes, 8 minutes or thereabouts, looking at the Nigerian economy and that's vis-a-vis the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Where, Nigeria is so talented, and yet we're not feeling the impact like America is, or UK is, or Europe is.
Yeah, Soni, the problem, to me personally, this is a personal opinion, it is the institutions. When I say the institutions, yes, the institutions that are supposed to control different things.
Okay.
We're talking about politicians, we're talking about the legal, the courts or whatever, judges. Yes. We're talking about customs, Nigerian customs. We're talking about police. We're talking about, So if we cannot build those institutions to be, to know what they are doing, like in America, I don't see, when we're coming here, I saw a policeman, what is it called? Is it road safety or something? In the middle that one Marwa, instead of stopping, what I'm trying to say is, you see police taking something on the road. It's not good. So all those institutions have not been properly, if somebody steals government money or something, you cannot, there's no FBI. If FBI in America, if they want to crack a case, they will crack it without any influence or anything. In short, what I'm trying to say is corruption has affected our major institutions, so that they cannot thrive, they cannot do the job well. That is what is wrong with us.
Because they mortgaged their conscience.
Their conscience. So that is, Nigeria will have been a great country with the kind of human resources that we have, mineral resources.
Well, other parts of the world, other countries of the world are tapping our brains.
They are tapping our brains.
Taking them away from us.
So to me, and it's the plain truth, if we can do without corruption, because Akinwumi said it, when he said something, later Akinwumi talked about corruption, if we can do without corruption, or we can reduce it to the barest minimum, I think Nigeria will be a world power, because the residual effect of prosperity and will come down to us. You were coming here today and said Lagos State, Lagos Island, the heartbeat of Nigeria, supposed to have a light trail system to move people.
See, imagine Metro FM and Metro Rail.
Light rail.
1974.
And today we are using a Keke Marwa as public transport. Korogbe, all those small buses, Korogbe, Dekumagolo, what is it called?
Korogbe.
That's what we are using. So we need to sit down as a, we're talking about why when we started war against indiscipline.
Yes.
Nigeria
was kick against indiscipline.
Nigeria was where people will queue at the post office. They will not urinate openly, because the system was on.
Yes.
We were, but I don't know. There was a coup or something like that, and they reversed that war against indiscipline. And see where we are today. People will see red light.
So is it that we use Bob Marley's words, one step forward, two steps
backward. You see, red light.
What's wrong with Nigeria?
You see,
is it about leadership or is it about followership? What is wrong with Nigeria?
It's both. But Nigerians are very good people in the sense that it is what the leader does that they say the leader is
so
still
leadership by example.
Leadership by example. See, people cross red lights. Red light. What will make a man to cross red light? What if the other person was coming and people cross red light. People urinate on the road, defecate openly.
Yes.
All kinds,
The sewage is allowed to overflow. The drainages are not moving, and they are clogged or blocked.
We have to go into a national reorientation.
Was there any orientation before? I know we have an agency, but what does the agency stand for?
I don't know. They get their
National Orientation
Agency in Abuja, yes.
Who are they orientating?
Exactly.
Orienting?
Well, they are doing some work recently on Facebook. They will identify if a Nigerian wins a gold medal. I'm sure.
Oh, okay, that's the orientation. Okay. Well, one sounds detached.
Yeah.
And maybe not enticed by any of these things. But the truth is, I cannot be given an opportunity to run a country or run a state or run a local government or even run a company or an institution, and I cannot show leadership. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
So,
That's the problem.
me here opinionating, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a citizen. I like to see a country that flourishes the way the rest of the world is looking at us, is what I would love to see.
Definitely. We go to England, we go to America, we go to Ghana, neighbors here. Even Cotonou, so they are a bit disciplined. You won't see anybody crossing red light. You don't see any driver running a red light.
So what's that problem then?
Because you know that the gendarme is standing there. And once you cross red light, they don't do it. They are disciplined. They don't do it. They clean their markets. The other day we went to Burkina Faso. When we were doing a program for NAPTIP, NAPTIP against human trafficking. Civil servants come out during break. If you see the gardens, what we call buka or something, you don't see paper on the floor or something, pure water something. Clean, everybody's, in fact,
that is the orientation we're talking about.
Yes.
You just hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
Civil servant comes out.
Yeah.
And then you don't see, there's no paper on the floor.
No pure water. Even they eat their salad. You see, when somebody is calm, you will know. Even if he's an ordinary person. Have you ever seen a calm Agbero boy? When I'm coming out from Sangotedo to VI, you see the number of, I don't know where they come from, all these young boys, coffee, come and lean on your window. They even wash cars in traffic. No, they do that now.
May God forgive us. May God forgive.
Is that the kind of country?
May God forbid. What if a pandemic strikes in Nigeria? What will happen?
Everybody is, those who
there's no orientation. There's no awareness. Anyway, sorry. This is Soni Irabor Live, and I'm with Gboyega Adelaja. As we round off, we just have about a minute. Can you encapsulate a little bit more? Because you have spoken like an encyclopedia.
Sonny, you know how we all, in the radio, you were in radio, I was in television. We've been together for so long. Bisi Olatilo, late Willie Egbe, Paul,
Mani
Onumonu in England. So John Momo, Patrick O'Kay, Yinka Craig, we were all together.
Yori Folarin.
Yori Folarin. So, And I'm sure those of us that, we have a good vision of what we want in life, a decent life. Most of us, me and you, we don't want to, we have always lived decently. And she in Yoruba, they say, somebody will never see wealth before. In fact, they were born inside wealth, inside intellect. We are born into, so we won't do the things the way other people do it. Some other people do it. Trust me, Soni, you know that. If they make you Minister of Information now, I'm sure that place will change.
The producer said I should round off, so thank you so much.
You are welcome, Soni. God bless you. God bless you.
And, we try to go into historical facts and then come to the moments. That's what we try to do on Soni Irabor Live. And I hope you have enjoyed it. We've had a little bit of a trip around the world and around Nigeria with Gboyega Adelaja. This is Soni Irabor Live. Thank you very much. Goodbye.